Hey YouTube, coming out to the Great League team. So you're going to see about 3 or 4 Great League teams in a row here that I did early in the season, week 1. So if the battles aren't against like the toughest opponents, we'll just ignore that. But it's all teams that I wanted to try Pokemon that I think were like super underrated. So you got Venusaur on this one. You're going to see a Sandslash on another one. Or just like try hard teams. So you're going to see like a Shadow Scizor, Blastoise plus team, right? So it's basically going to be try hard teams or Pokemon that I think can really break the meta. So this one was Venusaur. I think Venusaur is underrated grass Pokemon in a meta that is starved for grass Pokemon, right? We just had Jumpluff nerf, so one of the only Jumpluff and Superior nerf. So two of the only usable grass Pokemon just got nerfed. So we are desperate for some grass outside of Cradily. So Venusaur fits a lot of the bill, right? So you resist water, you are neutral to ground, you hit super effective against both. You resist electric, so it has a lot of things going for it that you kind of need in this current state of the meta. Yes, it's truly just a little bit of rock, paper, scissors. You got to fire a water and a grass. I think Blastoise, even though it is a water, does play a very, very great safe swap role. I've kind of mentioned it multiple times how underrated I think it is over the last couple seasons. Cancel Ninetales because I love using the spam on this thing, despite how many, not flaws, but how many things can beat it. So we have a Pharaoh. I know for sure I can outpace it to the Weather Balls. My only concern is that a Weather Ball will not take it out. So I'm at least going to go to a Overheat to fake it. Whether they shield or not is another thing, but here comes the first Weather Ball bait. And even if they do shield, I don't even know if it's that bad of an issue because I think basically Ember Weather Ball can pretty much take out because this thing is pretty glassy. So here comes the second Weather Ball. They do end up shielding and they come into Corsola. So shields down. Best believe I'm going to be overheating this thing. So get to the overheat, take it to the deep, deep red. And that is where Blastoise can just come in, get some energy, take the charge move, and still have over 50% health here. Now the only question I have is what I'm going to do here. You had two options. You could try for the very aggressive farm down and count with like 2 Hydros. They probably get another move off though. So I don't think that's the right play. I think the right play is what I just did. Over farm a little bit so that you can go back to back here. And this is why Blastoise is such a menace. The Hydro Cannons are still chipping despite its lower attack. Goodbye Pharaoh. What's in the back? Oh, Quagsire. So tries to get out. Eventually get into the Venusaur. We'll be hit with a Stone Edge, but you'll live a Stone Edge here from this range. And then just the pace of this thing. Frenzies in 12, right? Frenzies is such a hard-hitting move. And you have that Vine Whip Frenzy Plant combo. And now you have Sludge, which is, if you need like a bait move or a cover move, you have that Sludge that is coming at a quick pace. Okay, speaking about coming at a quick pace, Dedenes. Yes, you will notice that I should have gotten to the Weather Ball first, but despite my clicking, I was 3 moves behind here. So they got to a Parabolic Charge Plus before I even got to a Weather Ball because the game just froze on me. Went straight overheat. So despite the game trying to screw me over, I do end up getting that overheat off and taking it out. I tried to catch and then I didn't get it. And then so I'm like, you know what? I bet you that energy is valuable later. So eventually comes a Dugong. This Frenzy will be super effective. Ice and Ice Shard, Icy Wind are also super effective. So they are going to commit the shield and go for a move here. Now the question is, what do I do? I don't remember what I did, but I think the right play would be let this go. Come in a Blastoise. Yep. Roll out a super effective. Ice Shard, Icy Wind is resisted, so they have to go Drill Run. I can farm up a bit because even Hydros will chip because Cordelia's half rock, right? So I don't mind. Yeah, I'm going to try and take this out here because I don't mind coming out with a bit of energy here because if I Hydro the Cordelia, it's basically just Weather Ball range. So I can just start spamming Weather Balls after I get this Hydro off here. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So here comes the Hydro. And then if they let this go, it's double Weather Ball. And if they shield, then it's probably coming in. Or actually I'm going to force them to throw here. I don't know if 1 Overheat takes out from this full. It's like 80% health. Yeah, and that's, you can see I'm questioning that right when I'm playing. I'm like, I don't know if this takes out from full health. So let's Hydro this, chip it to the yellow, and it's guaranteed to take out from the yellow. Would it have it taken out from 80% range? You know, Cordelia's kind of bulky. It ain't surviving from 50% health there. So do take it out despite the game costing me 3 fast moves on the front end there. Stunfisk. I've played this matchup a couple times. So you can live one of these mud bombs if you want. I do show up the first one. Just going for a weather ball here. If they let it go, it's just weather all spam. If they shield, it is straight for the overheat here. Grab that second shield or basically take it out. It doesn't quite take it out. It leaves it with a couple HP. But you know what? Taking a Pokemon down to a couple HP when you have a fire Pokemon against the ground is not the worst case scenario. And then I do make a catch on the VENUSAUR. Don't know if that's the right play, but wanting to save the Ninetales, potentially seeing it have play in the back. Leafage, Abomasnow, which does get to the move first. Very spammy. Weather Ball lands, so it does take me out. But now I got my Ninetales. I still may throw. Yeah, I really don't want to take a move from a Shadow Abomasnow on my Shadow Ninetales. It's resisted, but it would still chip, so I just want to take that out. And the Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's problem is exactly what I mentioned earlier. Really nice Pokemon for cover and stuff, but when you go against these bulky Pokemon like Blastoise, that can tank one of your moves, and you're so glassy that these rollets are super effective but adding up. And now I get to the Hydro. This is gonna one-shot you. So Pharaoh, I know a lot of people like using it, but tanks like Blastoise and stuff are gonna be a big problem for it. And then I roll out down what's left of the Stunfisk. Talonflame. Ooh, I gotta just stay in this one. Yeah, I gotta stay in this one. I cannot have my VENUSAUR on this, and I can't switch right away into Blastoise. So I'm going straight for the overheat. Hopefully they know I only have resistant moves and let it go, but they do shield. So at this point, I do come in Blastoise because I'm like, you know what? If you grab one shield, maybe you can combo with 2 bad Pokemon against it. So Blastoise is basically going to be sacrificed here, assuming that they have an answer to it. Dusclops is not an amazing answer, quite honestly. But this thing does spam pretty quick. So here comes the first Shadow Punch. Not enough to take me out, but they'll get to another move. Maybe on CMP here? Looks like they went for the extra Hex. May try to commit to the Hex down, because knowing they can live another one here. It's going to be aggressive Hex down, and they kind of recognize I'm getting to a move here. I assume I just let this go. And come with what? Ninetales to try and get to a second overheat, and they come Azumarill. So kind of a tricky one because I have to respect the Ice Beam. That will be super effective and put me too low that I basically would be Incinerate downrange for this one. So over farming a bit here. I'm hoping this Frenzy takes out. Azumarill's pretty tanky though. Yeah, so they do live. Now they're going to get to another move here. Maybe I should have thrown to put pressure on that shield. I'm letting it go, hoping I live. I have a Sludge, but now the Incinerate's going to take me out. Ooh, and they have a move here. I can't really shield, but now I've got to go for like a Weather Ball bait and hope they shield this so I can land an overheat. And if they let this go, it's going to be kind of tough because now I'm going to need 2 here, and they're at a move too. I'm at a second move, but I think they're at a move too. And we do CMP, and I do have a shield, so I will burn the shield to hopefully I have enough damage to take this out. 1 HP. And unfortunately with 1 HP they live and we'll get a move off here, which will take me out. So close matchup there. Maybe I should have grabbed that shield on a Azumarill, taken it out to not take that Ice Beam. Okay, terrible lead. Can't come grass right away. You would assume that as a Mud Boy they have an answer to grass. They are also not throwing, which makes me believe that maybe they do not have a good answer in the back to this. And I'm shielding because I think that if I shield the Stone Edge and with as far energy as I have, I can flip switch here. And it's a Powder Snow Ninetales. So roll it super effective. I already landed 1 Hydro. Here comes the second Hydro. And it does take, they just let it go. So now I take it out. Now I have my Venusaur on this. We'll see what's in the back for the Ninetales. Hydro Cannon is shielded. I'm still putting pressure on. This is why I think Blastoise is so strong. It just has so much coverage in the meta. You can deal with waters with the rollout Skull Bash. You can deal with the ground with Hydro. You can deal with flyers with just neutral with Hydro. You got some bulk. I think I'm going to die on this hill with Blastoise this year, how strong I think it's going to be. So now I got Venusaur on this. What's in the back? A Pharaoh. So we will just spam. Can I live a Drill Peck? Yes. Would it be close? Yes. And knowing that I can get to 2 moves here is, I think, all I need, right? It won't take out, but it'll put it within like a couple HP. So even if they shield this, I'm not going to outpace to like the overheat here. So I just need to chip. But as you're going to see here, Kanto Ninetales, the Weather Ball buff, takes this to a couple HP. So even though they're going to have to dump a drill run here and chip me a bit, I still would be able to just Vine Whip down. But they try and snipe. Only an Aqua Tail, that's not enough. And now we'll have a Sludge for the Pharaoh to end this matchup here. Stunfisk, again, we've seen this. You can live one Mud Bomb. It's close. You're going to get outpaced to the Mud Bombs. You could bait a Weather Ball and then go Overheat. So we'll see. I am shielding up the first one. Going for that Weather Ball. If they do let it go, I think you just commit to the Ember Weather Ball combo here. But they do shield. Again, a lot of things worried about that Overheat. I'm going to commit the double shield. Kind of interesting that I'm doing this. I don't know if I even agree with this play. Now going for the Weather Ball, but they've already grabbed 2 shields, so this job is done. They could let this go. Yeah, and that's exactly what they do. They let it go, and now I have to try and like catch and come Venusaur to get with the Togekiss. You know what? Not great, but I do have Peck. Sorry, I do have Sludge. I will resist the Aura Sphere, so if they have Psyshock, unfortunate. If they don't, they do. So that's super effective. That's fine. Gonna come Blastoise, just roll out down, but I'm shields down. If the Stunfisk comes back in, Annihilate is tough too, because Annihilate resists the rollout. And that was bad timing because I just did 2 rollouts, which is 6 and 6. So I just let them get a full counter through. But just trying to snipe here with the Weather Ball. Put some pressure on there, and they let it go. How much health does this thing have left? Enough to get a Mud Bomb off, and this will take me out from this range. No, 1 HP. Surprise. Yeah, so I mean, it's Stunfisk. You guys know I kind of crap on this Pokemon a lot. Had 1 HP. I'm not going to outpace to a move here, so a Discharge is going to land. And the problem is, Annihilape's got some energy too, so I have to try and overfarm a bit here. I think Annihilape's going to get to a move now, no? I don't think I had the choice to overfarm, because I think I would have hit with a move, but yeah, they do have a move coming out here on the Annihilape. Dedenne, again, let's see if the game tries to screw me over here, because if they don't, oh, they get out into Credilli. A Bullet Seed Credilli at that. So I'm going to chip here. I think Venusaur has like an okay-ish matchup. Bullet Seed makes them charge a bit faster. And I do grab 1 shield, so I try to catch a move here. They do not throw. But, I mean, they're going to be throwing the Rock Tomb anyway, so it's not like I would have caught a like a resisted move anyways. And they have a second move. So I probably shield because I do not want the Dedenne on my Blastoise. And I'm hoping that even though my attack is lowered times 2, Shadow, Frenzy may still take out from this range. No, unfortunately they live with a couple. Oh, but I do have the Sludge. This Sludge is actually quite helpful. Just being able to chip and having a bait move for the Frenzy is quite nice. And they have a Marowak in the back. So that's, I mean, at least they're hitting neutral, but holy smokes. My attack is 2 times lowered, but I do get to the Frenzy. This will put, yeah, 100% they're going to shield. 2 times lowered Frenzy is still going to chip a ton. Blastoise alignment here. Take the move. And they eventually get into Dedenne. Trying to go to the Overheat. I tried to land the Overheat before they buffed their defense here. I know I'll live 1. Yeah, I'll just let it go. Buff defense, maybe they live now. Yep, so if I could have got that off before, that would have been huge. But I do still take them out. And can I get to the overheat? I do still get to the overheat. It is 2 times lowered, so it's not going to chip as much, but it'll still still does a lot of damage. And with a shield advantage and hydro, able to take this out there. So, you know what? I'm liking all 3 of these Pokemon where I use them again on a team. You know, feels rock, paper, scissors at time. There's your Blastoise. I have to come mirror match at best. Again, could I come straight grass? Yeah, there's not a lot of grass in the meta, so I don't even know if a lot of teams will build for it. Well, there's a crest with confusion, so there goes that theory, because that would hit super effective against the poison. But if it was just a straight grass, it wouldn't hit super effective against the poison. But can you theoretically run something like VENUSAUR and just hope that your opponent doesn't have an answer? Or at best it's neutral. And I guess it comes down to what you think the meta is. So again, you guys we're going to go to more like the analysis part of this video of the Pokemon and the sort of, not side talk of it, but I'm done with shellcasting battles. You get it. Ninetales, if it was a ground or a rock or a water, I say swap Blastoise right away. Fight for switch when you need to. And then try and flip switch so you get the VENUSAUR on all your weaknesses. I like Ninetales. I've already gone over Ninetales as a Beyond the Hype. It is so strong now in a meta that is still very dominated by ground, water, and now more rock, which makes it very, very tricky to run, even though it is much better. VENUSAUR. Again, the meta needs a grass. There's 2 grass Pokemon in the top 100. Both are very, very usable. Credilli and Toedscruel. Toedscruel obviously half ground, Credilli half rock. And then you're in the hundreds. And it's Amoonguss, and it's Trevenant, and it's Vic, and then there's a Abomasnow. I've already showcased the Abomasnow, how strong it will be because it's half ice, and that will break a bunch of these flyers and ground type teams too. So I already went over Abomasnow. But here we have VENUSAUR. And although VENUSAUR is ranked 189, I still think it plays better just because of how limited the grass is. Now, the problem with grass is everything over the past 3 seasons have killed grass. Not only did they nerf the usable grass Pokemon, but they've buffed in the past like 2 or 3 seasons. Steel, which resists. Poison, which resists and hits super effective. Fire, which hits super effective and resists. Bug, which hits super effective and resists. You got steel. I already said steels that resists. What else did they buff over the past couple seasons? It's just like pretty much like 4 or 5 things that do very, very well against grass. So grass is basically out of the meta. This season, there seems to be more. So what are the things you need to worry about this season? Fires, like I said, Ninetales, even Ninetales is ranked, the non-Shadow is ranked 95 and the Shadow is ranked 122. There's not a lot of fires in this meta. Talonflame, maybe Ninetales, maybe some Typhlosions, but honestly not much fire. So I'm less worried about the fires. I'm more worried about the flyers now. I think there's a lot more flyers in the meta this season. You know, Corviknight, Altaria, Gligar, Togekiss, Gyarados to a certain extent. Togekiss you can at least hit super effective against, but Psyshock would also be super effective, and same with Peck. So, you know, it's with the flyers, you gotta kind of, I would say build for the flyers. I wouldn't so much build for the fires. I would build more for the flyers. You know, I think steals are a bit underrated, but people will say, how can you say it's underrated when there's like 10 in the top like 50? Corviknight, Fortress, Empoleon, Steelix, Bastion. Some of these are repeats. Scizor, Matang. So some of those are repeats. Tingatong. But not having anything to throw at steals is going to hurt. So I would, like, if I'm going to use VENUSAUR, I'm covering my flyer weakness and my steel weakness while still having 2 Pokemon. Again, you don't need to answer fire, but you at least need to have a couple of things that are at least neutral to fire. So again, I do think VENUSAUR has a lot of play. I think having that sludge that does 84 damage, right? 40 for 84, 2.1 damage per, and coming at 10 is pretty solid. Obviously, Frenzy at 120 damage, you just kind of throw that whenever you can. But having a bait move / cover move is pretty nice. A lot of things that are going to beat you in this meta or cause you problems. Yeah, like Corsola, I was going to say Corsola Dusclops, just because those Pokemon are kind of exactly what you need on the team. You got some bulk. Corsola and Dusclops, I think, are great pairings. You got some bulk. You have Pokemon that just kind of deal with everything, right? Their only weaknesses are Ghost and Dark. So I guess like a Dark Flyer will cause you a bit of problems, like if you run against a Galarian Moltres or Mandibuzz. If you run Corsola / Venusaur, maybe have a third that can deal with those. But I also said Flyers are something you need to deal with, so that would probably be your third Pokemon. But otherwise, it's hitting neutral against like a lot of the other Pokemon that will cause problems. Like your Fires, you'll hit neutral, and your Steels you'll be able to hit for neutral, and the Bugs you'll resist because you're Ghost actually. So I think the Ghosts are a pretty nice pairing. But you know what? When you put in Venusaur in the one shield scenario against the main meta, I just kind of paired them up just to see like, oh, do they cover each other's weaknesses? Venusaur's holy smokes. It loses Corviknight, you lose to. Fortress you lose to, right? Those should be obvious ones. And then close, like neutral losses to Corsola, Dusclops, and Bastion. And then on this one, like this sim scenario, says you beat Credilli, Diggersby, Carbink, Lapras, Empoleon, Stunfisk, Marowak, Clodsire, Gastrodon, Steelix, Azumarill, Jellicent, Bastion, no, not Bastion, Wigglytuff, Dedenne, Ferret. Like, that's like the main meta page analysis. It's got a lot of play against the main meta. But the problem is, this meta is so wide. I didn't even mention Charizard as a fire. Charizard is one that you are seeing a lot more of. But then there's all your losses, right? I mean, Dragons. Dragons, the other thing they got buffed this season and past seasons that make it, you have no move to throw. We have Sludge, but otherwise Grass is resisted, right? So, losses are Scizor, Moltres, Drapion, Weezing, Talonflame, Corviknight, Regidrago, Charizard. So yeah, a lot of other meta Pokemon, which kind of goes back to the issue of, not issue, but the way the Great League is right now, right? It's a lot more, there's like 70 to 80 usable Pokemon. So you try and cover your weaknesses as best you can. I feel like Pokemon like Blastoise, Corsola, Dusclops, like those are going to be the generally safer Pokemon in this meta, where even in bad matchups, you can kind of just chip your way through. And against the majority of this meta, you are somewhat safe-ish. So I think those are the Pokemon that I'm going to probably rely heavily on this season. But Ace Sandslash is coming next as the, again, I think Ice is going to be a sneaky typing this season. I already kind of showed how strong Abomasnow, thanks Obama, how strong Abomasnow is. And then Ace Sandslash, definitely has some strengths with that steel ice typing, but obviously double weak to fire, double weak to fighting, some out of ground weakness, some issues there with the main meta. We'll go over that next video. So that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.